Badge and Honor Ceremony. This is incredibly important, not only important to the individual officers, but their families, but also to us as an organization. But before we start, I'd certainly like to make at least one introduction. We have our good Mayor, Paul Natal. Mayor, if you'll please stand. Present, thank you very much for attending. I asked the mayor if he'd like to say anything, but he said, no, this is your show, Chief. So we'll go ahead, we'll get started. I do have a few things I'd like to say before we get started. You know, being the new chief here, I mean, this is always an important ceremony that we like to do for the people that work for us. We don't consider them generally just employees. I consider them friends and co-workers. I'm lucky enough to have been chosen to be the chief of police here at Commerce City. It's a grand organization. I've been very impressed with the personnel here. It doesn't make any difference if it's sworn or the unsworn staff. I've been thoroughly impressed. I've been here 6 months, almost to the day, and I've had continuous help, continuous good things said about the agency, the people that work here, and I'm proud to be associated. And forever, however long I serve, I will be. And I only say that because I'm not anticipating leaving, believe me. But it's not forever. When you step in as a chief, it's always a temporary position. I'm not 34 years old. I'm edging towards retirement, and whenever that may be, it will be. And we'll see what happens. But I'm very honored to preside here. It's a special day. We normally only do this twice a year, so this is a special day, like I said, for our family, for the police department. You know, and although I've only been here 6 months, I'll tell you, every day I see the good work that the ladies and the gentlemen do here at the police department. They may not know it, or they may know it, but every watch log, every commander's log, every day, every shift, every document that a sergeant writes, I read, and I read it very thoroughly. And I see the grand work that goes on. And if you're a community member, if you're a resident of the community, I think it's difficult to understand, truly understand, how the men and women of this department serve the community. I see them handle things admirably, changing a tire for somebody, giving somebody a ride to work, handling barking dog complaints, you know, handling events at Pioneer Park and the community outreaches, and how gracious they are to the community, and how kind they are to children, and handing out the brochures and the bicycle helmets and everything else that they do. But on the other hand, I also see the professionalism and the work that they do when they have to change that kind face into a face where they're facing incredible danger. And we're going to see that today. And I think most of us lose sight, and we lose the perspective that certainly everybody that wears this uniform loves this job. We're doing it because we want to do it. We can all do other things. We've probably all done other things. I've done other things, as many of you know, practice law, I'm an attorney, but for me, it was a meaningless job. It meant absolutely nothing. It didn't feel like I was helping anybody, and that's really the calling of police officers today. We make a difference in the community, make a difference in the world, and many of us don't realize that until after the fact. And it took me leaving police work many years ago, practicing law for about 8 years, to really see how important this job was to me, that this really was what I was supposed to be doing. And I only say that because all the ladies and gentlemen that are here today, that are here to get awards, that are here to support the men and women of this agency, feel exactly the same way. Probably some even feel stronger than I do. But we keep it in perspective that the ladies and gentlemen of this department do an incredibly dangerous job. And it can move from a very happy situation to a very tense situation, depending upon the event, depending upon the scenario. But it's what we love to do. There are days where we deal with very kind people, very loving people. 2 hours later, we'll deal with somebody who's very belligerent, who's very combative, and we have to deal with that. And we have to change our personality 180 degrees. That's difficult to do. You know, the dangers of police work, the physical dangers, are espoused by by many writers and many commentators. And there truly is physical danger in police work. But I think the underrated danger is the psychological and emotional harm that nobody really thinks about. And how do you change your personality to move from a very tense situation to a very calm situation in a matter of a few seconds, in a matter of a few minutes? And I think that's the credit that the men and women of this agency really deserve. And of course, the credit goes to the families, to the spouses, to the children, and understanding and dealing with all the things that happen on this job. And so I thank you for supporting your police officers. I thank you for supporting this agency, and I thank you for attending today, because it is absolutely the most important day that we can have here at our agency.